I'm not sure if I'm live or not, but welcome to Plant Based Homestead Prepper, where we make prepping fun. And hopefully today my audio is a little bit better. I was using a different microphone the last couple of days, and I found out that microphone probably wasn't working. So just wanted to come in. I had a little drive time. And I want to thank you guys. We have had a splurge in a boost in the channel over the last two or 3 days since I've been posting so much, and I've been doing some things on the back end to kind of put the channel name out there. So I want to thank and welcome my new subscribers. And if you are new here, we're the channel that we make prepping fun. If you don't know what prepping is just a group of people who see things could happen, are happening, and we are doing something about it. And we're taking control of our own houses. It's probably the best way to say it. For example, if there's some kind of storm brewing in your area, we on the East Coast, we're hurricane prone. So anytime we get a storm warning, everybody goes out and starts prepping for the storm. Well, in the prepper community, we are people who just stay prepped for any and everything. So that's pretty much what this channel is about. We teach the basics of prepping, why you should prep, how to prep, what to prep, when to prep. And right now, we're trying to get the word out and the news out about the food shortage and the food shortages that we are currently in. A lot of people don't realize it, but we are currently in a food shortage. So there are some things that you can do now, especially if you're brand new, that will help you. And a lot of us are thinking and unfortunately predicting that it's going to get worse before it gets better. And the reason why I'm harping on it so much is because I had such a hard time growing food this year. Normally I'm able to grow corn and tomatoes and okra and you name it, I can just throw it out in my garden, and usually it'll grow, and we're eating, and everybody's happy, and I can share it with neighbors and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't able to share anything with my neighbors this year. So I started researching things, and I found out that, professional farmers and people who do this as a career, they were having a hard time growing things this year as well. And in my research, I found out that the climate is changing. And it's not necessarily due to what we as mankind are doing to the planet. It's more or less what the cycles that are naturally occurring and happening, on our planet and within our solar system. Some things really that we can't control. And that comes to, when we go into a minimum, which we're talking about a solar minimum or a grand solar minimum, that means that the sun is just not producing, the way that it has. This is not the first time this has happened in our history. It has happened, times before. And we're just hoping that we don't go into a full-blown solar minimum or a grand solar minimum that could last several decades. And if that happens, we're going to have to, life as we know it is going to change. We're going to have to really start becoming more self-sufficient, which is what we teach here. We teach, grow your own food, stock up on food, learn how to purify your own water, learn how to store water, things of that sort. So that's what the channel is about. And I feel like a messenger, and I feel like it is my duty to come in and just squawk as loud as I can from the mountaintop and let as many people know, hey, there's a problem. There's a problem coming. Where there's a problem currently, there's a bigger problem, on the outskirts that could come in. And if and when that happens, be prepared for it. Worst thing to do is something happens and you're, totally blindsided. It's like the worst thing in the world that's the worst prep. Not knowing something has happened, bam, it just happened. Have you ever been in a situation where something happened and you're like, man, I wish I had seen it coming. I wish I had some kind of warning. I wish I knew before it happened. Yeah, because that's called prepping. Because if you know something is coming, for example, if you know this is the wintertime and normally during the wintertime your heating bill gets more expensive, then hey, in June, July, August, and September, it will probably be wise to put away a little money for your heating bill in December or January, because it happens every year. And that's basic prepping right there. The worst thing that I feel that happens is that people react instead of being proactive. Being reactive instead of being proactive, all right, or proactive. So that's basically what prepping is about. I know that it gets a negative connotation all the time. A lot of people hear prepping, they think Doomsday Prepper, which is a great show, and a lot of those people on Doomsday Prepper were made to be looked at like they were total idiots, or like they were tinfoil hat wearing people, which is really not so. Those a lot of those folks had valid concerns. For example, a lot of people think that because America, the United States, I can't say America, because America is in like $22 trillion of debt. A lot of people think it's wise to store away some food and store away some water and some different things that you may need, so that if or when something happens as far as our economy, and it's not like we haven't seen that before. We've seen recessions. As a matter of fact, we just came out of a recession, a few years back. And if you look back at history, back at the Great Depression in the 20s, in the 30s, it's not that we're immune because we live in the United States. And yeah, we have the best economy in the world. And yes, life here is great. But, it could easily change just like that. So that's basically what prepping is about, and right now there are a lot of folks, me included, who are noticing that, we have a potential, we're in a food shortage, and we have a potential of going into a food crisis, which the next step would be all out famine after that, So just be aware of what's going on. And when you start hearing things in the mainstream media like, oh, there's going to be a French fry shortage, you might want to start paying attention to what's going on, okay? You might want to start paying attention. Because if mainstream media is starting to talk about it, then that means that people like my channel and other folks have been talking about it for a while. Because once it starts hitting mainstream media, it's pretty much too late at that point in time. From what I've gathered in the past. Not that history always repeats itself, but it's always a good thing to know history and to learn history so you don't repeat it. Or so you can see ways of not repeating it, I should say. So anyway, we've been talking a few minutes. I just wanted to come in and just give you guys a quick hit of what Plant Based Homestead Prepper is all about. Welcome to the new family. Welcome to the new friends. We appreciate you for being here. And if you, as you go through the videos, you find something that's helpful and beneficial to you, please share it. Like I say all the time,